dockside lake. A tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Oh, thing, she cried, I'll take you in and I'll take care of you. Take me in, tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman, sighed the snake.
Clyde, cool Clyde. Thank you for coming on, because as I was telling you about my young 10-year-old who asked me about my button, and this when he asked me about my button, I gave him a button, and I told him to write me a paragraph on what economics and racism, because when a young person stop and ask you.
Well, first of all, I want to say this. You know, I'm honored to be here. I want to thank our executive producer, the Most High in Christ, for allowing me to be in your presence.
Well,
I'm very humble. I'm very nervous right now. As many interviews as I have done, this is something that I've always visioned in my mind, to be with the mature and the youth. I like to merge that together.
Well,
and we can learn so much from each other. So I'm honored to be here.
What impressed me about this 10-year-old would want to know about my button.
Yes.
Because I've been wearing it, and I don't have us folks asking about it, what it is. And this is what he wrote. He says, and I'm not going to give his name.
Okay.
Because I want to learn about economic racism, because I think that is important. Not of people are losing their jobs because of economics. Now, how, just the fact that he was concerned about economics, the word.
And what's his age?
He's 10.
He's 10 years old. I want to be clear about that.
Yes, he's 10 years old, and that's what impressed me. Then he also, when it comes to racism, he says also people become homeless because he related homeless and economics, and that's what impressed me, because of economics. I think we should stop economic racism because it's bad for the state. And just the fact that he related this whole thing to economics and how he put it. And I was just impressed. So here was a 10, and not only that, he asked me for a couple of more buttons to give to his friend. And I said what he was sort of automatically setting up just a group of young people who are thinking completely differently.
Well, it's very interesting, that our young people, and a young person like that, 10 years old, wanted to know these questions, because oftentimes they are feeling certain things inside, and they want direction. They want somebody to be able to give leadership to them. And
probably, yes.
And there's, today, with a lot of these forces that are hindering them from wanting to express themselves, I think this was so important that he brought this up. I mean, when you look at today's rap music and you listen to it from when we first was listening to rap music when it first started in the 70s, the music and the consciousness is totally different today. Yeah. Back then was uplifting. It was about, love your brothers and sisters. You're dancing. You're trying to uplift your community. Now, we did have some of our bad times, but it's not like the way it is today. A lot of the young people today in this type of music don't realize that it's entertainment. It's a lot of negative forces, a lot of vibration in the music, and it's causing people today, the young folks today, to lose their spirit. And a lot of that is going on today, and it's purposely done.
Yes.
Because they don't want our young people to be conscious. Today our young people are in a state of mind where they really want to do. They want actions. They ready to make things happen. But because sometimes they don't have the resources.
Or the people that they know.
Or the people to support them.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and we talking also in terms of, you know, racism, you know, coming into corporate America, trying to establish a business. You know, you go through so many rigorous things to try to get ahead. And I'm not going to blame everything on white folks, because you have black people that will hinder you. There are many times in my time where white people have helped me get ahead. Now, I don't know, maybe due to they felt guilty about things that happened in the past, or maybe they felt that they could profit off of me, or many different reasons. But still in all, racism does exist.
It certainly does.
And so on many forms, you know, and a lot of us are being hindered from doing many things that we can take our time to try to do for ourselves.
All right. I would sort of agree to that. And I know that I will say, if it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't even be talking, because I think many times, and a person also like Flo Kennedy, that was an attorney, that sort of more and more felt that what I was doing, that I should continue. And at that time, let me always say that word economics I don't think was ever even, I had even thought of.
Right.
But just the fact that I began to understand what racism is, and how I was told, let me say this, I was told to keep my mouth shut, and if I didn't keep my mouth shut, that I wouldn't have a job. And the fact is that I didn't keep my mouth shut. Adam Powell had a hearing.
What year was this? Do you remember?
Was in, I believe, 1962, in the very early days. And the fact that I was told to keep my mouth shut, and if I didn't, I wouldn't have a job, and I never worked another day after I testified in Adam's hearing. And that's when I began to see, I began to understand what economics was, what trying to, many, at that period, many of men, or we couldn't get licenses for anything.
Right.
And like I tell people, you know, I said, take a look at 125th Street, all the corporate world is in 125th Street, not a black man.
It's amazing, like when you go into Harlem, 125th Street in Harlem is generating more money than 34th Street, Manhattan, where the big Macy's is at. When I see all those buses coming through Harlem, like those sightseeing buses, I look at them, white folks, when they come in there with their cameras and so forth, they're looking not how beautiful the place is, but where I'm going to set up my office, where my apartment is going to be, where I'm going to be setting up shop. And we that live there
are being slowly pushed out.
We're going to be reciprocal. Yeah, we're going to be on the bus. We're going to be looking at where they set up shop. So there's a plan here. And a lot of it also has to do with, I won't say all, but our elected officials selling us out. This is no coincidence. So when we see racism on so many levels, there's many times and I'm not from Harlem, but I know about Harlem. There's many times that I might have went to Harlem and was driving through there, coming from the studio or whatever, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I see the white folks out there walking their dog. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not a care in the world. And they looking at you like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
It certainly is.
You get on the elevator with them, they crunching, they holding a bag. I don't care if you got a suit and tie on and you business minded. It's like they make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Like you're up to something, like you're the boogeyman or something.
This is true. And that's why I said when you begin to talk to, which not too many of people do, talk to young people and see where their minds are and what they want to do, that it's certainly where are we that we can encourage young people?
I think we got a long way to go because
The only thing you hear about is the killing each other, and which to me is bad.
well, that's number one. That's program because there's no profit in white America to educate a black man. You have to do this on your own. The resources, the Spirit of God, He gives us resources to be able to use our mind. If you take all of these elite, famous, wealthy, rich athletes, rappers, real estate brokers, doctors, and bring them together and started our own independent party and we trust one another, where do you think we would be? If we stop spending money in these stores, you come from a time where it was marching and all of that, you know, and protesting. How many times must I beat a dead horse dead? My hands are swollen from beating a dead horse dead. You gotta boycott. Stop spending your money. Create your own.
Well, that's when you say that. Yes, that's years ago. Con Edison Telephone Company. That's one of the areas I would picket and demonstrate, and had so many people. Bloomstein.
How many of our people is willing to do that? If you have,
They don't even talk to you. They think you're crazy.
If you have a sale, like Michael Jordan had a pair of sneakers out the other day, $175 a pop. Who do you have out there? Young black and Latino kids, 3 o'clock in the morning camping out to try to get a pair of sneakers that's going to be worth nothing once they put that on their feet. It is not worth nothing then. The company it may cost them $10 to make overseas somewhere.
Overseas, yes.
Where they outsource the money, they make it, and they come over here and they
Right.
sell it for like 20 times more than the sneaker's worth. And they make you think that you're getting a limited edition. So, okay, you running out there spending all your money on a pair of sneakers, and then about 2 months later, they coming out with something else, and you don't even want those pair of sneakers no more.
This is true.
This is what's going on. Now, if there was SATs going on in school, and, you know, why aren't outside the schools lined up before the doors open? But
Sure.
it's a strategic plan to keep our young people muzzled.
Yeah, and the thing about it, what bothers me, that's more of our children and Spanish children in jail than any other group.
Yes.
More of them getting
Let's
arrested.
talk about it.
You don't see the white kids getting arrested.
Well, let's
Or
stop.
they don't have no record of it.
Well,
And they'll say you're a liar.
It's amazing that he was talking about doing away with the stop and fist. But, yeah, a lot of young people would think they could walk in the street. A lot of young black and Latino people, you can't stop me. You know, that has been thrown out.
Yeah.
No.
They do.
As far as it being computerized and entered in the system might be different, but who's to say they can't take it and write it down on paper? They still gonna account that. So you're not getting out of this. So my thing is that we as young black people have so many different tricks and things and obstacles in our way. If we got the same equal opportunity as white folks did, we would supersede them. We always do it in sports, music. Look, even in tennis, they had to have two sisters play against them.
Yeah.
You understand? That's how bad we were.
Yeah.
Bad in a good
Given
way.
the same opportunities in the other areas.
Of course. And this is another thing is dealing with racism. When you look at some of the groups that came up during the Supreme era, and then you look at Destiny's Child, why do they always have the light-skinned black sister, the lead singer, knowing that the dark-skinned sister, in most cases, could sing her butt off and do everything good, but they want to dismiss her and push her to the side. There's another big thing that they got going on, where, and I know it's in the Caribbean and Jamaica in particularly, where they're bleaching their skin. You can tell that they're bleaching their skin because if you look at the knuckles and anything lower than the neck, it's dark. subconsciously it's a deep-rooted hatred inside. And this is what's going on. White is okay. White is right.
Yeah, I used to hear people say that.
And I mean, anything to do with black is something negative. But I say we people of color, I say we many different shades of brown.
And you know, when you stop to think about it, how our young people, it should be just the other way around. Instead of them killing and killing each other, that it just couldn't be reversed the other way.
Well,
a bit like this 10-year-old boy is thinking.
I always look at, they have a saying called black on black crime. Crime is crime. You know, when people go out and intentionally go out to try to hurt someone, then that's crime. But when somebody is being profiled for something, a black person is being profiled for something that they didn't do, and they turn around and get shot in their home.
Oh, that is really.
And then they're told that they were running away from them, the police, and then you find out later on that because of technology and these cameras all over the place, that it's a different story. But somewhere down the line, they get suspended, the officers. They may still be on the payroll. It's a little slap on the wrist. Now, something just recently happened, and this is supposed to be so-called Black History Month. Another joke. This is the shortest month out of the 12 months, the coldest month, and it's always something where some sort of police brutality going on in Black History Month. Why is that?
I hadn't paid attention to that.
There's no coincidence. It's about making mockery and letting you know. You look at just the other day, that governor put her finger up in the president's face.
I missed that.
Listen, that was to let you know you're still a boy. You a boy.
No
I don't
respect.
care. I don't care who you are. You're the highest elected official in the world, and there's no respect. It's just going to show you.
Clyde, what can we do to get more young people thinking like this young man?
Well, I think...
And giving buttons like this to his friends.
I think that it starts from home, parenting. I think that when you have a lot of organizations that are not being funded, where if they were funded, because I know don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people out there that are trying to do for young black people, and particularly.
Yes, there is. There's a minister that his young people are more moving into law and to other areas, and I think that I think is good. And the young people.
And it's a constant, again, it's a constant struggle, because if organizations are trying to have after-school programs, not just basketball, but I'm talking about teaching things with science, archaeology, things that where a law, if these programs are not being funded, then
that's intentionally.
Of course it's intentionally. You know, and then this is how that also works in politics. If you're in a poor neighborhood and poor people do not get out and they say so-called vote, to me it's God or die, not vote or die. But if you don't vote for them, they're not going to come out and support you because they want to be in office. They're going to take that money and distribute it to people who they know is going to vote for them to keep them in office.
All right.
That's why in certain areas they don't get the money and the resources. Even when they do come out in over numbers, it's still a game that is being played with that. They're still not getting what they deserve. So then people get discouraged from the system. They're already showing you now where, you know, you have to have a driver's license in order to vote, a passport in order to vote. What about the people who don't have passports and driver's license? Their votes don't count?
This is true.
Yeah,
It appears it's true.
And if you don't have that spiritual guidance and understand what's really going on, you could get caught in the system, and you'll wind up being in jail, dead. You know, I mean, these are the options, because there's no benefit in educating a black man.
This it appears to be true, and not only that, you have in other countries, you have, like I say, in China, these young people, they just put out something where these young people who were coming here to get jobs in technology, and when I saw that, I said, oh, what about our young people?
Well, that's very important that you bring that up, because when you look at our young people today, and I love our young people. I always try to fight, and I always try to find ways to try to bring them, because I come from a time, and I was one of the fortunate ones to come up and have good parents. You understand? And giving, and not coming from a family where we're arguing and fighting with each other and cursing each other out. Now, we have family members, we're going to have our differences.
You know, I want to say, I want to thank you, because I don't know anyone that, would be so willing to talk like you're talking.
Well, it's the spirit of the Most High. It's when He leads me to speak. When I leave my house, I pray to the four corners of this earth, and I ask Him, don't allow me to speak what you want me to say. I'm not here to glorify myself. I'm not here to be on TV to show everybody that I'm on TV and that's what it's about. There's a message. We're here for a short period of time. When I leave this planet in the flesh, I want to be able to go down as a warrior, because everything that we do is being recorded right now. We can lie to each other, we can play game with man, but we cannot fool the Almighty God. We can't fool Him. He created us. We could talk about we were tired, we would sleep, I forgot, I had a drink. He's going to sit us down and tell us the time, the date, the second. There's no way in the world we can get around the person who created us. So with that in mind, I think about these things. I think about, can you imagine, everybody has a fear. Can you imagine your punishment for being disobedient to God? That He's going to make you live out your fear for eternity? One of mine might be going across a bridge and it's the bridge collapsing in the car and you drowning. Can you imagine going through that over and over and over again? And you say, wait a minute, let me go speak to a loved one, my girlfriend, or let me go have a drink, or let me talk to somebody who I really care about, and they could give me some comfort while I'm going through this cycle. Soon as you try to reach out for those things, it's going to get a million times worse. So that keeps me in check. A lot of times people don't want to talk about God because it becomes a thing where they taking it out of the schools. That's why a lot of our young people today are losing their mind.
Well, you know what I said? We have these charter schools.
Yes.
And I said, people don't realize it. Charter schools are for the future and control. And when you're doing charter schools and eliminating, I'm talking about public schools, and money is going into charter schools. I'm concerned about that for the future of many of young people of color.
It's a new hustle. You know, when you look at, these school systems, now they got metal detectors in there. The youth are waiting on long lines like they going into a jail facility. I mean, I was coming to school, we didn't have all of that. I mean, all of these different, I know we're living in a different time, but do we have to live in these type of times?
In our community, it appears that's what they put.
Not
in my communities.
It's amazing what's really going on in the system the way it is today. When you look at even some of our pastors in these churches are selling us out. The pastors in the churches are supposed to mobilize the community and come out and speak against injustice, but yet they're taking bribes underneath the table.
Oh,
yet they looking the other way. Yet they're fondling and molesting some of the people in the churches, or they know that a woman is going through something, she's vulnerable, and they're dating the woman who's married, who's coming to them to help them get out of a problem. All kind of trickery, and that's why people move away and feel that there isn't no God. And then they'll go, well, man wrote the Bible. That's the excuse.
Clyde, what can we say to the young people like we got for this young man and other young people?
We can say that people like you and I, this is why we do these broadcasts. We have these broadcasts because this is a platform where we can talk to our young people. You know what? If white America is not going to come in these type of programs, these public stations, bring your show, bring young people, use this platform to be able to form an organization, form ideas. This is your think tank. There were many times years ago where we had the drums.
Yes.
To be able to send messages. Well, this is media. With all of this Facebook and Twitter and all this new technology today, there's no reason why we should be going backwards in this time. Because all of these forces, even with these clothing that they got out now, with all these demonic forces, skull heads and old English letters and all these, forces that are sucking the energy out of us. I got a picture with this young girl, and she's 6 years old. She's about 6 years old. If you Google it on the clothing line, you will see it says "Love Kills." They got a heart with a knife going through the chest.
Oh, wow.
And they think that's taking energy from you.
Clyde,
It's strategically designed to keep us mentally
and our young
in
people.
prison. Of course. And they don't see it.
And
They
that's
don't see
the
it.
sad part about it.
And then, they want to legalize weed or whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. But it's not, I understand that people got a mental sickness or something like that, but it's designed to keep us away. Remember, if you don't have good credit, you're not getting a job. They're already doing that. You're getting high, they're not hiring you. There's no jobs on now. What about the people who's on unemployment right now that can't get it no more because they gave up looking for jobs? They ain't counting them. America right now is sitting on over $2 trillion cold cash. What are they doing with that?
Radio for unsung hero, riding in the Rego, trying to stay legal. My daughter found Nemo, I found the new Primo. Yeah, you know how we do it for the people. The